around and spit it out, right?
Just so you know, it's not your presentations that want to leave early. I've got a 9 o'clock appointment.
How are your eyes?
Great. I don't wear glasses anymore.
Excellent.
I have little readers I wear once in a while,
Okay.
but they're really good.
Okay.
And that's good. There's one strange thing yesterday. I saw these little round circles. They were different colors. I don't know what that means. I've never seen before. So, I was sleepy or something. I woke up with all these little, so.
In the 70s.
I don't, yeah, probably was. Yeah.
Yeah, I never left it.
Oh, sorry.
Do you have LASIK or cataract?
Cataract.
Yeah, I did that a couple of years ago.
I don't know what that is. It's
I just
amazing.
need the readers too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can drive.
Yeah. I
What
can
made me go is I barely could pass the driving
And then-
test with my glasses on.
But I always find the problem. I kept wearing the old glasses because I didn't, but I found the best things yet. These are readers.
Yep.
You can't lose them. I mean,
$6. You break them and it's like a big pen.
All right, so let's get started. We've already invited our online guests. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jeff Harrison. In the background, the people that you can't see are Andrew McCauley and Amy Anderson. And we're here with SCORE at the La Quinta Chamber of Commerce. Again, my name is Jeff Harrison, and we're going to talk about blogging, and really blogging from a standpoint, when we talk about blogging, we want to talk about it from, hey, what's the benefit? What's in it for you to actually do the blogging? So before we get started and really dive in, let's really, hey, what is a blog? What do you think blog is in your definition?
To me, it's an information page.
Information page, okay, good. Anything else? Information page? Oh, here comes some people. Come on in, welcome.
An interaction page too.
Good. Okay, so for interaction,
And a way to connect.
okay, good, all right. Got some late arrivals, we love that. Okay, so we're asking the question is, hey, what is a blog? So we've got an information page, a place where you interact. What do you think? What would you define as a blog?
The way that I see a blog is kind of like your story.
Your story, good. Annie, what do you think? What's a blog?
Content, information.
Okay, so information again. Welcome, your name?
Natalie?
Natalie, welcome. Tell us what your thoughts are.
I have no idea.
Good, that's okay, that's why you're here. Hey, I didn't
All
know.
into this 21st century.
That's right, welcome. Good morning, come on in.
Thank you.
We wonder if you're gonna show us a speaker. We're talking about being, writing blogs this morning, really building your business because at the end of the day, things have really moved from depending on somebody walking in your door to visiting you virtually. And what that really means, there's a lot of cool things about that because, we live in a seasonal environment, yes or no?
Yes.
No, it should be the answer. Because when you do things online and you start attracting people virtually, there are no seasons. Anytime you go on the internet, it's open. How often is it open? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Is it ever too hot or too cold on the internet? Never. It's always perfect temperature. So in other words, it's always perfect to business. Now, the other part about that is, unless you sell a specific service, let's say I only clean pools, okay? Well, it's going to be hard for me to sell that virtually because I can really only do it in my specific environment. But if you sell, marketing, or you sell web design or that type of thing, or coaching, or mentoring. I heard you say you're going to meet with somebody that later today. You're going to meet with a client. You can do all this virtually. So what that means is there really are no up and down seasons. Andrew and I, we did a program called the Slump Busters, and the whole idea was to talk about, and it was really our virtual blog, it was our video blog, and it was really to help you see, hey, you know what? It's a mindset. Oh, it's getting hot. We expect to slow down. It's getting cold. Okay, it looks like now, or not cold, but it gets into perfect temperature. It's time for really to ramp up and start doing a lot of business. So really, blogging now is really expanding your business to say, hey, my clients are online. So here are some things that we talk about. What are a blog? It's a place you can share solutions. Okay, share solutions. So give me an idea. Tell me your name.
Shelley Morris.
Shelley, welcome this morning. Tell us a little bit about what you thought in your business or in your specific niche. What would you do to share a solution to your ideal client?
Well, if you are in the new construction remodeling business,
Okay.
actually just launched that business a few months ago.
Congratulations.
It's been a year now.
Okay.
I would share solutions maybe in talking about the remodeling and comparison to new construction versus remodeling and the affordability and the new costs and reconstruction versus remodeling, that sort of thing.
Excellent. That's perfect. Jennifer, how about you within the chamber, how would you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to share a solution knowing your ideal client, you know, they're business owners like us. What would you kind of share with that? That it's not, and let me just put this out there, it's not one of those things when you write a blog, it's all about me, right? Because if you do that, you're the one that's going to read it. All right. So it's really all about your audience. How can you help them? So how would you share a solution to your ideal audience?
We're selling events, so I don't know.
See that? And again, if you use it just for that,
I don't, in my position, I don't know, maybe a different role. I've never been
yeah. Many years ago, I want you to think about this. Many years ago, when I was just a little younger, maybe a couple of decades, I started in sales, and I was trained as a professional salesperson. And one of the things I always remember is you sell benefits. You don't sell pieces. You sell the benefits of it to the client. So what you might do is you might state a benefit. Remember I said, hey, stated benefit is we now have our product, our appearance online. The benefit is now there's no what? Seasons, right? I can sell it 24/7. So what is it when it talks about the chambers? Hey, you know what? You just sending me, and I'm not just picking on it, but if you were just sending me only about your events, what you're doing is you're training me to realize every time you communicate with me, it's only to tell me about the events, right? Now, it's okay to do that as long as you got it. Like, why would I attend this event? Why would I attend a mixer? What's the benefit? And it has to be something that says, you know, it makes me shut down my store early. It makes me stop taking my calls. It makes me attend the event. Okay? So think about it at that point. Anybody else? How would you share your solutions?
Try and, again, focus on benefits, not features. I always tell people I don't sell bun cakes, so it's a little bit tougher. You know, I'm selling a business exit strategy, which is a long-term sell and a long-term solution.
Yeah.
And so what I try and do is talk to people about why they should be focusing on the future, not just today. And so I try and get people to start thinking ahead.
Yeah.
And I mean, once I do that, then I start bringing in the concept of, you know, sooner or later your business is going to change, and you're going to want to change too.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out ways of getting them to think of that. What's my new strategy going to be?
So when you do that, let's take that up a notch. Good morning. So when we take that up a notch, you say, okay, if we're thinking about what's the benefit to your client about thinking way in advance at the end, and I'll give you just a perfect example or a specific example. When I started a business many years ago in the real estate industry, I sit down with my attorney and he said, Jeff, and this was new to me, he says, Jeff, before we say, let's go forward and form the corporation, the whole thing, he said, let's design your exit strategy. I said, Rob, I'm just starting. He says,
Absolutely.
but you need to start it before you need to decide how you're going to end this relationship, because it'll define every step along the way. And it's almost like putting landmarks. You know, when you're driving from here to Phoenix and you see every mile, there's a new mark on there. It's a milepost. You know where you're at, right? So the benefit is I can now move forward with a very clear conscience and a very clear picture. And now he told me, he said, Jeff, he said, it's going to act like a filter for you. I said, what do you mean, Rob? And he said, well, a piece of property, and does it fit in your exit strategy? And that's a filter. So all of a sudden, I wasn't going down those, right, the objects, and I wasn't going to this strategy. It came first. Now, because of that, I don't say this braggadociously, I'm just the point of what you're saying, and this could be all a blog post, right? The point of this is in 3 years, I did over 300 transactions, and I own 50 individual real estate properties. Typically, I mean, you're in real estate business, Wendy. How many people that you know are real estate investors? I don't say this to pat myself on the chest. I'm saying, because of what Rob, my attorney, did right there, it kept me so laser focused. How many people do you know that really have bought and owned 50 properties in 3 years or less?
Not too many.
Not too many. Now, I could have been in that wandering generality. I'm buying something, you're buying, and it takes me months to get it done. When I did a rehab, even a full rehab, 30 days in and out, because I rented it on day 31, right? So those are the kind of things, those are the benefits of thinking in advance.
You talk about one of the paradoxes of starting a business is it's so easy to start a business that most people just do it. They whip out the credit card, they call mom or, brother or something, and they do it. If you have to go out in a new business and borrow money or seek capital, the first thing they ask you is, what are you going to do with my money? The second thing they ask you is, how am I going to get it back? When? And that whole critical discipline, what your attorney told you to do, most people don't get. And so I have to try and catch them on the fly and get them to stop thinking about today and start thinking about that future event, because there's going to be an event.
Yeah.
And I tell people there's 3 ways out. You walk to the bank with a check, you walk home to the landlord and give them the key, or they carry out in a gurney.
That's true.
Take your choices.
Yeah. And some people take that third choice because they say, this is my business. I want to die.
Yep.
I was in the golf industry. They say, I want to die with a golf club in my hand. I hit my best shot and I drop dead. Boy, they're taken out in the gurney. They've lived their full life.
Caddyshack.
Yeah, not everybody wanted to do that. Another way to do this is to build authority. How would you build authority in your business? I'm sorry. How would you build authority, Wendy, in your business? Try to find somebody that's what was that? Banana bread this morning?
You mean
By the way, that's
becoming an
gluten free if you're not.
Oh, it's very good.
No, I don't know if it's gluten free or not.
So what was the question?
The question is, how would you build authority as you're the person to go to in your marketplace? I mean, I don't know, I'm guessing, there's probably at least 4,000 real estate agents in the desert. How are you going to build yourself as the authority in your marketplace?
Well, you say your credentials, you have you're a member of, you're a realtor, which is different than a real estate agent because they have to be members of our NAR and the local,
That would be a good
local thing.
Topic,
Totally.
what's the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor?
Yeah, that's the difference. So
I
that's.
just thought it was spelling.
No,
I'm
see,
just
well,
kidding. I'm just kidding,
You would
just kidding.
yeah, and so being a realtor, you set yourself up as more of an authority, you're right. A lot of people don't realize that you have higher standards, that you have to hold yourself to, et cetera, so.
Wendy, how about if you did this? Just an idea. You might want to write this down because this is probably going to make you $1 million next year. Okay? What if all of a sudden, because as an agent, sometimes you can work the entire valley, right? But what about as an agent, you said, you know what, I'm only going to take this one specific area. And since we're in La Quinta, let's say you're going to focus on you're only selling property in La Quinta Cove. So guess what? What if you started going around and you interviewed, how about the people that run the school systems here? What's this school right over here, the little elementary over here? Maybe, come on. John Adams. What if you went over there and had an interview with the principal and you knew what made that school unique, right? Do you think people living in the Cove, they have kids? Do you think they have kids that will go to that school? You bet. You're the person to go to. Then what if you came and you said, hey, I'm going to interview the people from the Chamber of Commerce in La Quinta that service the Cove, and you found out more about them. My point is, what if you said, hey, instead of just selling houses, why don't I sell the community? Why don't I go out there? Now, here's the other cool part, and this is a neat extra. Because you're going out and you're talking to all those people, do you think they're getting to know you better, Wendy? And how many real estate agents or realtors do not do something like this? Exactly. So do you think that would make you stand out as, she must be the expert, she must be the authority, because no one else in the 15 years that I've been at La Quinta Chamber of Commerce has ever, somebody in that industry walked in and said, other than, can you pass my cards out, and said, hey, I want to do something for you. Wow, that's pretty cool. Then what if you went up and down, and what if you said, hey, I want to interview Wells Marvin, okay? And you interview him, he's the one that did La Quinta, all downtown La Quinta, and say, hey, I noticed you've got this dirt moved around here. Tell us about that. Do you think you could put a blog out in a heartbeat, take a couple pictures with your camera, and man, if I'm somebody thinking I'm moving into the city, or I'm thinking about just moving one side of the Cove to the other, you're the gal I want to check with. So there's a way to make yourself build authority.
So she's branding herself.
You got it. What area does she sell homes in? The Cove. Who knows more about the Cove than her?
She does.
She is.
Who do my friends ask me, do I know somebody who can help them? her.
That's it, exactly. See how that works? Already, you are the Cove lady.
You are the code.
It's a way to accelerate the sales cycle. Is anyone in here not interested in accelerating the sales cycle? In other words, if it normally takes 6 months to sell something, what if we cut it in half? Oh, wait a second. If we do it properly with this, it said it reduces the sales cycle by 60%. Now, how could that happen? How could that happen by 60%, you think? Let's take it back to Wendy for a second. Wendy has been putting this stuff out there, right? You're only thinking about moving to La Quinta, and all of a sudden you start reading her blog 6 months ago. And now, guess what? When she decides to buy a house, she's already definitely decided on Wendy because she knows, likes, and trusts her, and there's nobody else that has more information to her. So when she sees something that Wendy has, because I guarantee you she's going to go on realtor.com and look up Wendy's properties and say, that's the one I want. Then she calls Wendy or sends her an email and says, hey, Wendy, this is so-and-so, and I've been looking at moving to La Quinta in the Cove, and I've been following your blog, and I really like what you're talking about because I have kids that are of that age who'll be going to this elementary, and I really like the attitude over there, right? And my husband and I are opening up a small business down here, and the article you wrote on Wells Marvin feels like it fits us. And I love the park idea of Fitzburn. Is it Fitz? Fritz Burns Park. Geez, I should know it's half a mile from my house. I don't have any kids. It's their fault. So my point is, by the time I call Wendy, I know, like, and trust her. Those are 3 things that we have to do before we pull out our wallet. Know, like, and trust somebody. I already know, like, and trust her. What's the only piece left? Do I like that house? Do you like that house? Is it what you saw the pictures of? Yes. That accelerated the cycle. How much time did you spend with her building all that where you were physically involved, Wendy?
Well, if you include the blogging and everything, it can be a while, but if they just discovered it, it could be not that long.
Here's the thing. How many of you are in retail sales? Any point in retail sales in your life? Okay. Have you ever had somebody walk in, please don't take this wrong, they were a laydown. In other words, you know, you have a complicated sale or you have an expensive sale, and all of a sudden they just said, I'll take it, Linda. And you're like, oh, what happened?
I'll give it to you.
What happened? Yeah, exactly. So what happened was they've already been to these 3 or 4 other shops, and these people have kind of set them up. They've already educated them. Think of them as blogs, your blog posts. So now when they come to you, they're going, I'm done. Here's my checkbook, Steve. I'm going to do this. I want to go ahead and do this extra strategy. I know I'm just starting my business, but I'm doing my extra strategy. That makes sense? So it accelerates the sales cycle to 60% when you provide solutions. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions, comments?
Yes, why did you come up with 60%?
I didn't come up with 60%. This is a fact on as far as Google is concerned, what it does when people are reading blogs.
Okay, so you got it from Google.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. It's a way to increase revenues. Again, anybody here not involved in making more money when you sell something, right? Discounts are not real good for you. Sometimes they ring the register, but if it's a physical thing, or it's a physical thing where you say, okay, I'm going to sell this at 60% of its value, I still have my money involved. It still takes me the same amount of time. If I'm working by the hour, it's decreasing my actually hourly wage. But let's go back to the blog post. The more you blog and the more you solve solutions or give solutions, does that add value or take away the value of that? You bet. You bet. Because you see how hard she's worked. You see how hard you work. And I see this, and you didn't even know I was kind of like visiting your blog. You didn't know me. But when I picked up the phone or I knocked on your door and said, hey, I'm ready to do business with you, I'm ready to do business closer to full retail. Because I know you're involved. You've got skin in the game. You've been interviewing people. You've been going around. You've been providing content. It's not just a take. It's a give. Does that make sense? Okay.
Also, in real estate, I want to mention that because I'm an affiliate member, I was a property manager at one time, that I have friends, you know, in the association that send me wonderful emails to bring me up to date what's going on in the marketplace and any new laws, which I appreciate. Keeps me in the loop.
So it's a solution. It could be a solution. Now, that could be good for you. It could bore the heck out of me if I'm in the real estate industry, but I don't really care about that. Like, if they're sending me commercial stuff and I only do residential or vice versa, eventually you're training me to say, there's another email from Linda, delete, because it doesn't have anything that pertains to me, even though this one might, right? So if you're sending out only things that are saying, hey, here's an event, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm not getting to open it because I know she's just sending me events. Instead of taking one, like the next mixer, when's your next mixer?
Next,
Tuesday.
Tuesday, where is it?
It's at the date shed.
The date shed. Hey, you know, what would you sell about the date shed? And you have those date shakes? Wow.
It's actually a music venue, and on our event that we do send out, we did give an entire description as to where the venue is and what it's about.
Okay, now wait a minute. Is there any benefit to me if I read that? Because it's all about, here's the den.
Might get to the right place.
Yeah, it gets me there.
Instead
Great.
of going to Shields.
But what's the reason? Why would I attend? What's in it for me? What's the benefit?
Meeting new people to possibly.
And it's a joint event, so we made sure that we put all that on there.
Well,
So-
and again, I'm not picking it. I'm just saying, hey, take a look at that and say, what if you did a little research? What if you Googled benefits of networking? And then put that in. Here's the top 5 reasons to go to networking events. When you meet 3 people in a networking event, it turns into an average of this much in revenue. It accelerates the cycle this much. And all of a sudden you're going, you know, I need to be there. Like we're doing webinars for a client here in the Valley, and she does business presentations, and one of them about expos and sponsorships. And she's talking about, you need to go, if you're a new business, you need to be out in the marketplace at least 3 days a week. 3 days a week pushing your business, whether you're knocking on doors, going to these kind of events, going to, you know, profit connections, whatever it is, you need to be out there 3 days a week making this happen. Well, we weren't real good at that because we're in the middle of doing our business. Now we've kind of thought, you know, I keep hearing this because I had to edit it like 3 or 4 times to get it, you know, by the time I was done, I listened to the webinar 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, okay, we need to go to events. And we did, and we have been. Right? And it's not just this, because this is a different way. So take a look at that. What is the benefit for me being there? Not about what it is, but why should I be there? What's my benefit? Okay? Questions, comments? Is this helping at all?
Yes.
Anybody heard of the cork tree?
Yes.
Now we're gonna,
Great.
Yeah.
Nice place.
it's a great place. Now, do you think they should have a blog?
Yes.
They don't. They don't. And here's the sad part about it. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. I say this just because I want to make sure. Oh, here we go. Let's take a look at this. This is live. As soon as it is live. When it comes up, I want you to take a look at this. This is not picking on Ray, okay? This is just a representation of, if you're out there and you have a blog, okay? Remember what we talk about. Builds authority, accelerates sales cycle, builds value, increases revenue. Do you think a restaurant should have something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Notice, now you can't see, it says contact. Oh, here we go. Welcome, reservations, menu, wine list, private dining, gift cards, contact us. The cork tree is perfect place to toast another beautiful day, splendid offerings. There's no blog on there. There's no blog on there. What if they wrote blogs about the type of people that attended? What if that they had a great experience and they had pictures of that? Because it could be a pictorial
They
blog, could
show
it
a
not?
recipe how to make some of their food.
Hey, if I'm going to dinner, I want them to make the food, Linda. But yeah, they could.
No, but a lot of places, because I watch food programs, they do that from different, and then my friend that owns a kitchen Jan, I mean, you do her stuff. You know, look what where she has her own TV show
Yeah.
now, you know, so that works for her with all the different shows.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, hey, if I'm going to think, if you're looking up a restaurant, are you looking up for a place to eat or a recipe? Thank you. So when I look at this, I want to see something. What's that?
You're looking for an experience.
Absolutely. So they should have that. They don't have a blog on there.
Well, sometimes you might limit yourself, like say you have, you know, a picture of all older people in there, you know, you might turn off the younger people.
Hey, you know what? Statistically, people over 52 spend 20% more on their tab than those under 52. Who do you want to come to your restaurant?
The ones that
Well,
can afford
you know,
it.
No, who do you want to come to your restaurant?
Soccer men.
There you
That
go.
might be the old paradigm, but a lot of young people are rich these days.
But I'm just saying, now, how many rich people, young people live in the desert statistically?
I don't know, do you know?
I think I met
40%.
both of them.
40% of the people that are living in the desert are under the age of 45. Okay? They're working. They have families. Their expenses are, they got to pay for football equipment, soccer equipment, tennis equipment, whatnot. So maybe their expendable money is not as large as it could be. Now, I'm not saying all 40% are in that situation. Okay? They're dinks. You know what that?
Double income, no kids.
That's right. They could be that way. That's okay. But if it's a small percentage, but I guess what? When you look at our environment and they're retired and they're over the age of 55, they have more expendable income. They have time to visit. So my point is, if I'm going to go fishing, am I going to go and say, you know, I saw a fish swim by here once 2 weeks ago? Or I'm going to go over and say, this pond is stocked. All I got to do is drop my line in. I will get some bites. Look at your market like that. Which one? So don't feel like if you have to alienate somebody, here's the biggest thing people do. Said, you know what? I'm going to go out there. I'm just going to talk to everyone. When you talk to everyone, no one listens. But when you talk to the people of the Cove, you are the authority. You have to sometimes say, you know what? Maybe my ideal client are not 40-year-olds. Maybe they are 55 and older. That's okay. You have to make that decision. And it could be the other way around, right? If you own a place down in Palm Springs, what's a place down in Palm Springs? Young place. Anybody here?
Place to go,
Yeah. Viceroys. Okay, if you're Viceroy, see, now you would have different pictures, different articles, different things, right? Yeah, okay, that type of thing. So it would be that. You have to look at your venue. Does that make sense?
Question for you. You said they don't have a blog. If they had a blog, who would it go to?
Well, here's the cool thing. And I'm going to show you that it has a great impact on their site. Because when you write blogs, the Google ranks it higher. Because what happens is, and Andrew will tell you, this is nothing more than just a static flyer. Because when we looked at this 2 months ago, with the exception of we are closed right here, no, I think it was there. This has not changed one iota. Andrew, would you mind telling us real briefly when this happens, because Andrew's an expert when it comes to SEO. When this happens and they have a static website, what does that do to their reach?
Sure. So essentially Google are looking for three things. They want fresh, unique, and relevant content. And if you've got fresh content, it means that something that's just been put up recently. So they have their spiders who go out and crawl the site and they look for dates that have changed. They look for information that was there or that is there now that wasn't there previously. So they like fresh, unique is also content that's their own. It's not being copied and pasted from anywhere else. So they've created new content that's unique to them. And then relevant content, they want to make sure that the content is relevant to the site. So if the site, if that call tree was suddenly writing about, Viagra, for instance, it's not really relevant, really, to a restaurant. So Google will say,
I'm sure we could
hey,
tie it in
what's going on
somehow.
here? It's not relevant.
Don't get me started.
Put a little bit of every grade.
Yeah.
So this last site, looking at Viagra and stuff, they were doing, they were creating dodgy content, like then slipping in Viagra in aids you can't really see. So they look at the fresh, unique, and relevant content. So what happens is when people go search for that restaurant and they type in information about food in the Kings or whatever it is, then that's going to come up because they're writing content that's fresh, unique, and relevant about that. Google love that. They'll show that in the search results as opposed to a site that hasn't changed, not fresh. It's unique, but it's nothing different, and there's no activity. Google think that the people who own the site don't even like it. They don't go there. So why should they show it to anybody else? Sort of thing. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Any questions about that?
Good information.
Thank you.
So if you have a blog on your site, okay, obviously then that's constantly changing,
Yes.
so that kind of sees that. Now, what if you also have a video on your site that you continue to change? So that
Absolutely.
also then increases your rankings.
The more stuff you can have on the more interactive on your website, the more stuff you have that's new. It doesn't matter whether it's, you have 2 or 3 blog posts a day if you want to. They're kind of saying you can do that, you won't have time to do that. But even if it's 1 a week or even a longer one a month, it's going to be something new. So when the spiders go out and they say, hey, there's something new here, this is good.
How often do those little spiders go
Pretty
out?
much every couple of days.
Okay.
They go out, they're out all the time. But every time they go out, they're going to look for something new.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Plus for the blog, you can keep the history back there, so you can go back and look at the blog a week ago. I'm not sure how far you can go back.
As far as you want.
In other words, you go back and so you see something that's current on there about this week about the topic, you can scan back and see what something else prior about the same topic. You might look at a topic you saw 6 months ago and say, well, gee, now this topic's changed a little bit because the situation changed.
Absolutely.
So you keep it as a history, when most email ads, once you see them, you delete them or you save a few of them, but it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find them after.
So has anybody heard of Farley Papers?
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit, right?
Just a little
Yeah.
bit,
So let me show you what happened here. Do you notice there's a difference up here? She has a blog, doesn't she? Okay, so let's see how she's done. And let's see if it fits the fresh, unique, and relevant. And again, I'm not picking on anyone in particular. I just randomly pulled these up and said, hey, let's check this out. Okay. Now notice, what does it say there? The last time she blogged. next Tuesday? Next Tuesday, okay? It's a music festival where?
No, it's a mixer at a venue that is a great music venue. It's on
Great.
the Empire Polo Grounds.
Oh, good, okay. I see, now I know I received that email, and I'm not slamming anybody, but I know I received the email, but I didn't get that part, right? So what if you put a headline in there, you know, build your networking to the sound of music or rock and roll, whatever that is. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. I might do that, right? Let me open that email. Let me read that article. That makes sense. I like rock and roll. I like networking because I know the stats, right? And then the right venue, Empire Polo Grounds. So I can go to Empire Polo Grounds without going to Coachella Fest or Stagecoach, right? Although, you know, I kind of like going to Stagecoach. But anyway, so you could do something like that. So title, make sure that that has a it's called a grabber headline, something that gets your attention. The best way to figure out these kind of things, look in the local newspaper. Go online and look at articles on other people. Get examples of what they're talking about, right?
Can't you just type in grabber headlines, Google that and see what comes up?
You could, but it's going to be really, really random. But you could look at that and say, wow, there's a lot of it is, I'm going to say shock factor. It's going to grab your attention. Again, it's grabbing your attention. I'll give you a perfect example. One of our clients, she's an author and a speaker, and she works with productivity in the workplace, and it's all dealing with anger that we have, right? So when we put up there, it says, you know, her name, this episode, anger management. Boring, right? How to increase your productivity in the workplace, uncovering hidden issues.
What is her name?
Can't tell you. Her name is Carol Davis.
You're so bad.
So now, see, that's more in my line. Who doesn't want to increase their productivity? I'm not saying work harder. I'm saying increase your productivity. So we know productivity is a key word. That's a hot word in her industry, right? So we always try to tie that in with that. And I always do that in the part where we put the blog in there. There's a part where you can do the SEO title, and I write that in there. How to overcome fear. How to increase your productivity by overcoming the 3 fears. Well, what are those 3 fears? I'm going to check it out. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yours is easy. A way to fund new ideas. How could you fund new ideas? This is my favorite.
Kickstarter.com.
Could be Kickstarter, you bet. You bet. Here's the biggest fail. Have you all ever had ideas and you spend all this time putting together and then you take it to market and it's just about like that? It's crickets. Mm-hmm. Nobody buys it. It was your idea. And I'll be honest, I've done that before. I've had a few of those. Here's how you can do it. Let's say you have a list of 1,000 people. 1,000 is not a big list, but it's plenty. You can be fat and happy with 1,000 people on your list. What if you had an idea and you said, hey, you know what? Pre-sale. I've got an early bird special on an upcoming program. And this is what I'm going to do. So now you put it out to your list and see if anybody buys it, right? Sign up for the early bird, right? Maybe you have a new product that you're thinking about starting to handle. Get this new product. This is what it does. If you want to be on the early bird list when it's released, let me know. Click here. And all of a sudden, if nobody clicks, guess what? Are you going to put it in your lineup? No, nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. But if marketing, and you say, hey, the newest thing in marketing is this, and I'm going to roll it out. It'll be available soon. Click here for an early bird list.
You're the first to get.
That's right. And then guess what? The early bird list, you got that list. Now you know exactly what I'm talking about. They already said, hey, I raised my hand. I'm in. Now you offer them some special for buying. So now guess what? Now this happens pretty quickly. They go in and they say, yeah, it normally sells for $599. You can get it for $197. What if you got 200 people saying, I'm in for $197? Could that fund your new idea? While you're on the beach taking pictures of your toes? You betcha. You're still going to give them the product, but now guess what? Are you more inspired because you got that money in the bank and everybody said, hey, I want your product?
Yeah.
Or you just grind away. Some people do that. They spend 5, 6, 7 months putting it all together, put it out there, and then it flops. Instead of going the other way around. Now you're inspired to say, let's rock and roll. Let's get this thing done, man. Because then I can sell it to the mass.
I'm motivated.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This is all coming from a blog. Isn't that wild? It's a 4-letter word. So you can, just kind of wrapping this up, so you want to grow your blog and your email list simultaneously. Now, the way you would do that is, let's see if I have an example up here. The idea is this. You're going to grow your blog and your email list simultaneously. And the way you do this is when you put your blog post on there, make sure on the side, they're called side widgets, okay? All it is a sign-up box. And I know you've all seen it. Hey, sign up here to join my list. Have you ever seen that? Sign up here to join my list. If you like it, sign up here. There's a product we like. It's called Lead Pages, and this isn't a sales thing for Lead Pages, but there's other people out there that do this, and they're called lead boxes. So what happens is, I know you've seen this, where you'll see something that says join my list, and when you click it, there's a little box that pops up on the page. And you either have to cancel out or fill in your name and email address. Well, they do tons and tons of research. So when this thing pops up, a higher percentage will give their name and email address before they'll quit. Nobody likes to be a what? Quitter. Even John Wayne said that out on the airport. Anybody see that thing?
Yeah, I saw the.
It says, I don't like quitters.
It's the billboard.
It's the billboard right out by
Highway 10.
Cabazon, right? Nobody likes a quitter. So that's the whole idea. That
AA
triggers on
does.
that. What's that?
AA does.
AA does? Yeah, exactly. They reward you. There's a few people
AA
out
is
there.
for quitters.
What? See, now that's a cool headline. AA is for quitters. I'm gonna change my name to AA. So here's some ways to attract traffic. Facebook ads. Anybody use Facebook ads? Ooh. If you're just posting things on Facebook, let's say you have an article, Wendy, and you put on Facebook, here's the thing. Andrew, stop me if I'm wrong. You're about 2 to 5% of the people that are on your list. So even if you built this list of 1,000 people, say, I know, like, and trust you, I'm on your fan page, only about 2 to 5% of the people will see that. Wow, how exciting is that? That's like setting up here for 100 and 2 to 5 people show up. Scary. What a waste, right? Or it's not as motivating. Well, if you put Facebook ads out there, now you send that traffic to your blog. We do that with Score. We do it with our customers. And what happens is it increases traffic, and we know exactly when people come through there. So as an example, we have a client, Gartland Law Group. Anybody heard of Bernie Gartland?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit. He owns the first page now because of things we were doing. His blog posts had gotten really old. It was over a year since he'd done that. Now it's every week for the last 6 months, like clockwork, okay?
Yeah, they fell asleep at the switch for a while.
It did, because they were having a transition internally. The guy who was normally doing that left, and he was moving back to Sholo, Arizona. We came in, got it back on track. Now, not only do we put a blog post up there, we put a video on there at the same time. Wow, we supercharged it. And we send out emails to their clients with that link that take them back to that page, and we drive traffic to it. Are they happy or happy? Very happy. I mean, all of a sudden they were getting 200 or 300 visits a month. Now they're getting thousands of visits. Now, instead of only 1 or 2 people calling from their ads that they're running, now they're getting like 38 new clients checking in. We see that because they register the names of people who walk in, and 38 new clients, I think it was last month. Well, again, let's go back to what's the value of a client. Is going to an attorney cheap or expensive?
Expensive.
Only if you don't use them. But my point is, I bet he probably makes, let's say he makes $1,000 net at the end of the day. He just added potentially $35,000 new dollars in found revenue, right? And he spent $1,000 for it. Is he in or in? He's in deep. He says, hey, let's double down next month. You guys can do the same thing. It's not tricky. Okay, it is kind of tricky. No, it's not. It's not. The other part is YouTube ads. You can do the same thing. Everybody's seen that. When you put a YouTube up there, or you do a YouTube, there's a little trailer there, and you have to click out of it or watch it. You ever seen those what we call pre-roll ads, right? You want to put in the first part. You want to make sure those first 3 seconds are just knocking them out, or 5 seconds just knocking them out. 5 seconds in there in the first 5 seconds before I was even allowed to click out. Facebook is doing the same thing now. Facebook is really starting to get aggressive in wanting you to put your videos on there. 4 billion views a day, just like YouTube. The other part is retargeting. This is kind of the newest thing, but it's not really new, but it's really starting to get attraction. What do you think retargeting is?
All the questions asked me, thank you.
Yeah.
Changing your focus, I guess.
Change your focus. What do you think retargeting means? We're talking about attracting traffic.
Can you demographic?
Okay. What do you think, Jennifer?
I took it differently. I thought that going after the same people, but in a different way, maybe.
Yeah, how cool is
That's
this?
what I thought.
You guys ever read a newspaper?
Yes.
When you're done and it's a fresh print, what do you have on your fingers?
Ink.
Ink. So now you walk in and say, and somebody says, oh, you must have been reading the newspaper, right? They've targeted you. In other words, that now we know what's happened. So let's take it back again. Let's say, for instance, you just send traffic to your blog from Facebook, and you put what we call a retargeting pixel on there. In other words, you put this little string of code on your website. When they go there, it puts that little code in there and says, I'm going to follow you around. So when you go back to YouTube or AdWords, let's take Facebook for a second. When you go back to Facebook, guess what's going to show up? Your ad. Only audience pixels and conversion pixels, they are coming into one, so they'll do the same thing. It's called an audience pixel. If you want to know more about that, just go to YouTube. There are probably a zillion, well, maybe not a zillion, maybe only a million videos about that. But here's a cool thing. When we first started talking, who did we say we want to talk to? The mass or a unique group, the niche?
Unique.
Absolutely. Guess what? When I come to your site about a beauty or health, and trying to get the luggage out of underneath my eyes gone, and you have an article on there, and I read it and leave, and you don't have a targeting pixel on there, do you know I was there? Can you follow up with me? No. But you put a retargeting pixel on there, now I read your article, I really like it, but now I go back to Facebook. By the way, 80% of these people that do this are Facebookers. So if you say, oh, my target market isn't Facebook, baloney. There's 1.4 billion people on Facebook. I guarantee you some of your ideal clients hanging on Facebook. So I go to Facebook, and guess what? That little ad now we've made, and it shows me carrying luggage. Get the luggage out from beneath your eyes. Click here, learn more. That's your article. And it ties right into the article I just got done reading, because it knows I've got black stain on my fingers, just like the newspaper. And now when I go there, it's only putting your ad in front of your most likely to buy clients. How cool is that? How would you like to be doing a home tour? What is it? Open house?
Mm-hmm.
And the only people who are allowed to come in brought their checkbook, their house is already sold, and they're packed up ready to go. Those only people can walk in.
And they have to, yeah, they have to.
And they're already pre-qualified. They're pre-qualified. Sorry about that. I forgot to
They got the
all the other
moving
stuff.
van.
All the other stuff doesn't mean anything. That's kind of what this does, gang. You had a question or a comment?
I was gonna say, so that's tracking the people that have come?
Yeah. They can track them for a period of time, 30, 60, 90, 120 days,
Is that
180
the
days.
same as, say, I'm clicking on a store's ad, and then 10 minutes later, I'm on a website doing something and somewhere, okay.
You betcha. You
I say
betcha.
the same thing, I always get the pop-ups of Bloomingdale, all that, it's always popping up because I shop at Bloomingdale's.
You bet.
I'm like, why is it?
How do they know, right?
How do they know?
It's because of retargeting pixels. It's customizing their audience. So they're only talking to people that are know, like, interested, and most likely to continue buying from them. Because if I bought a house from Wendy once and I'm in the market again, I'm probably going to buy again, right? Like we bought from Fred right down the street here, Fred Wilson. I think we bought with land and everything, probably 5 or 6 homes here in the desert with him. If we were going to buy another house, we go to Fred. We've always bought homes from Fred, right? So that's what this does. So retargeting pixels. 2015 is said, and Andrew was at the Traffic and Conversion Summit in Australia, but when they did it here in San Diego, they said 2015 is the year of the what?
The retargeting pixel.
Retargeting pixels, because it really says, hey, I'm only putting things out there to people who really are concerned about remodeling their home. Maybe in the next 90 days. Wow, how would you like to have a list of those people? Retargeting. So these are,
Is that an expensive thing to get to do?
no. We spend on average, what, $5 or $10 a day for a client? You don't have to spend that much. You can spend almost nothing. But but like an audience pixel like that, you can get it somewhere between 1 and 3 cents a name. So sending people over there, okay? Now you still don't know who they are, but you got a little mark on it. It's almost like, hey, I'm following a red car. I don't have their license plate, but I know it's that red Subaru, and we've got satellite imagery. We see where you're going, right? And we can control the stoplights. We don't know who's in that car yet, right? But when you now click on that ad, now we know who you are because we're going to ask for your email, because now it's to learn more, right? Now we know who you are. Now you're in our email database. Does this make sense? Did you guys like this?
Yeah, very nice.
Questions, comments, concerns? Can you go out today and say, hey, you know what? Now I know what comes first, the chicken or the egg, the blog or the website? Which comes first?
Blog.
And when you're doing this, do I write for my client or do I write for me and beat on my chest?
My client.
Client. How do I know what to write about? How do I know what to write about?
Make you the expert. Relevant.
Their problems.
Solve.
Solve their problems.
Give them a solution.
Give them a solution. I guarantee you, if, as an example, marketing, you could say, hey, what are the 10 most challenging things a small business owner has to do with, what's their 10 top problems? Bang, there they are right there. It's not like, well, somebody's already written that. They want your perspective on that, right? Write them. You know, what's the 10 things people face? Like, what's your average age of your client? Your average age of your ideal client? 55 plus. So guess what? Average health and beauty challenge of people 55 and older. Man, you'll probably get 20, right? Besides aches and pains is how we look in the mirror, those bad mirrors, got to get new mirrors. And so all of a sudden you can say, hey, there's 10 new articles for me to write. If you're only posting once a month and it's a long article, you almost have a year knocked out, gang. There's 10 topics, right? The woes of someone having a remodel done. Oh, there's only a few, right?
Several.
Yeah, the sub's not showing up. It's the wrong material causing delays. You know, whatever happens, the delays from the cities for a permit,
Variance
all
permit,
absolutely all that kind of stuff. You know, hitting a pipe where there wasn't supposed to be one because somebody built all that kind of stuff. How do you overcome that? You hire a licensed contractor, general contractor who will do this before we start. Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You've been great. Give yourselves a hand. Any questions before we let you go?
Did you want to announce when you're going to be back here or what?
I was
where
about
you're-
ready
where
to do
you're
that.
floating around next?
I was about to do that. So
Okay.
first of all, I want to say thank you to SCORE. SCORE promotes these and for also for La Quinta Chamber of Commerce having us here. We
Yes.
do these about every 6 weeks, and it's always a different topic in La Quinta. We do these almost every week throughout the desert, and we go to different chambers as well as going back to the SCORE location in Palm Desert at 43100 Cook Street, Suite 104.
The Whitewater Building.
Yes, the Whitewater Building. So we'd love for you to join us. Do we have anything coming up? I think, you know, here's this. We'll be in Indio next week. It starts at 7:30 to 8:30, and we'll be talking about and Palm Desert. We have a double next week. So Tuesday, we're at Indio doing content. Thursday, we're at Palm Desert, social media. Now, the one at Palm Desert starts at 8 o'clock,
Right.
okay? Because it's longer for me to drive there.
Yeah.
It's not easy getting rid of this luggage, okay?
So did you want to switch it to?
This month, India's 7:30, but starting next month, most of the chambers will be 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's a new announcement. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. That's.
There's witnesses now, Ron,
Right.
okay?
We haven't finalized it here yet. But
Okay.
most of the other chambers are all 8 o'clock now.
By the way, does everybody know what SCORE does? They are an incredible organization of people who are retired. Some now they're starting to change a little bit of people that are still currently working, but they're mentoring you. If you interview the top people in any industry, anywhere on the planet, and said, how did you get there? Mentoring is usually number one or in between 1 and 3. There's a saying that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, hire a mentor. The cool thing about it is hire usually means you put some cash out. Here they're asking for your time. Ron, will you spend time with people as long as it takes to get them where they want to go?
How much do they want?
No charge. No charge. And how hard is it, Ron? Do they just have to pick up the phone and call? 760-773-6507.
Go on the website and you can send them too. And you can pick from the backgrounds of the different mentors one fits you the best. And then if you go in one mentor, you're not staying with one mentor all the time. You might find a gee, it's a legal issue, they'll bring somebody in legally. You got some contracts to review, right? Somebody else wants to review contracts in that area. So we've got a lot of different options that we're doing.
And the SCORE website's so easy, www.scorecv.org. It's very easy to know.
If Linda knows it, you should know it.
That's right.
So again, I want to thank you, and also the Chamber for having us here. This is a fabulous room, and for those people that joined us online, thank you so much. By the way, this is recorded, so if you want to see me again, take more copious notes, you can go to the SCORE on YouTube. It's there, or you can go on the website. It'll be there by the time you get in the car. I don't know if you saw, but Andrew's back there making that
How
happen
long
as
is
we
it
speak.
on? How long do you say that online?
It'll be online forever. Yeah, it'll stay online forever, but it'll only be current on the website for 1 week. So we'll replace with it. With
What website is it on?
scorecv.org.
Or you could go to the announcements and see today's too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or you can go to YouTube and you can go, Coachella Valley Score.
A lot of them on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
What is that?
That's a mic. That's the mic.
Mine.
That's my blue snowball.
It's new toy.
Yeah.
Room freshener.
Amy's new
Please
toy.
do me a favor. Remember, this is home